Okay, so today I'm going to talk a bit about the box step. Sometimes you'll hear it referred to as the jailhouse step, and sometimes you'll hear it referred to as the telephone booth step, or the telephone booth form. You see I'm on this kind of a cushy thing here, so it's kind of cool. The reason why I'm on this is to demonstrate how it works. Now the principle, the reason why it's sometimes called the jailhouse form or the jailhouse step is because there's a story, and I think is probably not true, but what the hell, that a Tai Chi master had killed somebody in a fight and went to jail, and so in order to practice in his standard issue Chinese cell, he developed the box step or the jailhouse step in order to be able to practice his form. Now the reason why I say this is probably not true is because there are a whole bunch of martial arts stories about some master killing somebody in a fight and having to go to jail. I think the point of that story is to demonstrate that that the martial art is effective. I think that's the whole point of the story. And then they do a thing. Now, so the idea behind the box step is it's really a replacement step. So I can give you an example here. So you notice I'm on this little pad here, and I am going to do basically the box step as I do the form, just a few of the movements. And you can see movements where I would normally travel a distance, what I actually end up doing is a replacement step. So really what the box step is most of the time in practical purposes is the replacement step. Now the reason why I like to talk about this before winter is because everybody ends up with a space about this size here between their coffee table and their couch where they have room to practice, right? So what the box step does is it allows you to be able to practice and to move. And you see here I'm just doing the first section of the long form, but you get the idea that what I'm doing is moving my feet, maintaining the flow of the movement, but I'm doing a replacement step, and sometimes I'm just lifting a foot and putting it down. So the principle behind the box step is that you place your feet where you need to in order to keep the form flowing, right? So now the principle of the box step is also applies to other parts of the form, or the idea is the idea of improvising. And this is actually fairly important when you start talking about using in martial arts, specifically Tai Chi, since that's what we do for self-defense. That when you're talking about it in terms of self-defense, you can't predict what your attacker is going to do. So you have to be able to adapt your form. You can't stop and suddenly go, wait a minute, come from there, because I don't do that in my form, you know. It's kind of like you have to kind of be adapt. So if the person is coming from here, you might come here. If they're coming from here, you might come here. Or if they're coming from here, you might come here. The idea is you move your feet, or you move your body, or you adjust the technique according to the circumstances that you're in. So the idea behind it when we're talking about the form is a replacement step. So I will give you an example here. I'm going to do brush knee twist, which I did a minute ago. And you notice if I was actually doing brush knee twist, let me step over here. If I was actually doing brush knee twist as I came through, I would actually step through here. Yeah, step through here. Now what happens is when I'm doing the box step, rather than stepping through, when the foot becomes unweighted, I retreat it and then step forward. Retreat it and then step forward. So you can see here, rock back, and when I would turn out the foot normally and shift my weight back into it, when I turn out the foot, I bring it back next to the rear foot, and then the same thing. When I turn out the foot, I bring it back to the rear foot and step forward. I do something similar with repulsed monkey. With repulsed monkey right on here, if I was doing repulsed monkey, again, I'll step off from here. I'm going to step back, right? Now, if I'm doing it with the box step, what I will actually do is come here, and rather than stepping back, and this is the idea, is I place my foot where I need to keep the flow of the form. I'm actually going to step sideways. So I bring my feet together, step sideways, and then do the shift. So that you can see what's happening is there's an adjustment of the foot. This way, I can continue to do the form. That way you don't get this idea of doing rush knee twist, and then back. You can kind of do that. Same thing happens with some of the other movements. Let's say parting wild horse's mane, right on here. And I'm moving forward with that. And instead, what I will do is again the same thing. As I go to do parting wild horse's mane, I'll bring my foot back and then step out. Same idea, same replacement step. So that's the same basic idea. Fair lady work shuttles, right? So you can see here, I'm starting here, right? And I'm just going to go ahead and place my feet where I need to. So here, rather than stepping across, I'll bring my foot back and forward, so that my feet go where they need to go in order to continue to do the form. Cool. Well, thank you very much. Now we'll go ahead and practice that.